On today's episode of Mind the Gap, I have the pleasure of hosting two remarkable individuals who are making waves in the UK utilities industry. In 2018, Shashi, alongside wife Indu, founded Skewb, a digital and agile force committed to delivering sustained, resilient and value-driven outcomes for clients. Join us for an insightful conversation as Shashi and Indu share their journey, experiences and vision for the utilities industry. Thank you so much for coming. It's great to have you both here this afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jules.
And it would be great if you'd be happy to start by kind of giving us a bit of a story around your career and how you've ended up being co-founders of Skewb. What led you to pursue your career in this field, and a bit around any of the key milestones that you think have got you to where you are today.
So for me, myself, it's been literally an accidental stepping stone into the utility sector. So I did my bachelor's in computer science and I was looking for a job, and I was fortunate enough back in India to join an MNC called Wipro, and they worked with the utility sector, National Grid, they were called Transco at that time. So they're one of their biggest clients. So I started as a software developer. I moved on to being an analyst, and I was also involved in the transformation programs that the energy industry was going through at that time, and was part of metering transformation and meter reading transformation programs. And at the end, I had, like, after 6 years of working with Transco, I had a career break, and then I looked after the children and home. Joined back Skewb, came back with Skewb in 2018, co-founded with Shashi. And so since rest is history.
Yeah, I think, Jules, the story of accidents continues with me as well. Being an electronics engineer, you go to campus placements in India, and I was quite an average student, and you have these. So Wipro came, which is one of the bigger MNCs in India, and you have these exam questions. 60 questions, 100 questions, 60 minutes. I think I was at 55 minutes and I had another 50 questions to do. So I closed the question book and I just went multiple choice, C, B, A, D. I think I was 9th out of 400 students on that exam. We had the interview, and I think I messed up there as well. But end of the day, I was the only one from electronics who got a job with Wipro. So I think that was accident number one.
Wow.
Accident number two was, I think, as Indu said, I was told you're part of the Transco ODC, which is the offshore center. I asked what did Transco do. They said gas distribution. My only reflection of gas at that time was cylinders being brought to my home, because we had no pipe gas at that point in time. And I felt, I don't know, what am I going to learn with because that's all I had.
Yeah.
A reflection of a guy, 4 cylinders in his small little van, bringing it to the house. And I was thinking, I don't know, where have I landed? But I think there was so much of reading content that the ODC had that I learned: UK Link, AT Link, the emergency system, all of that virtually without ever having landed in the UK. And then my first experience here was in 2000, and I don't think I've looked back since, because I really enjoyed the impact of utilities that as a consumer you face here. And then over the years, gas, and then electricity, and then water, and and then you learn it. So I think 2005-06 was a big changing moment for me, because having been part of the gas network separation piece, which was one of the bigger deregulations in the UK utility sector, and working with Wales and West Utilities for 2 years as part of their business readiness team, had a very positive and profound impact. I think there are still things I learned then that I apply now, which was really very, very path-breaking in terms of what we did. My journey of the next 12 years, where I took several solutions to the market. So I used to do, in my initial days, 800-900 miles a week, meeting clients, trying to talk about street works. You have a whole raft of experiences. I think I had a counsel who tried to sell me a solution back for 50 quid, which I said I'll buy at that point in time. So when you go through that, I think what it teaches you is the value of delivery, the value of relationships, the value of consistency in sort of what you do. And I think those lessons have learned, that I learned some hard, some not so hard ways. You put them uh, to uh, to the fore. And then Skewb in 2018 was really an opportunity to apply everything learned over the years. I think make a positive impact to people around you, make a positive impact to the clients who have trusted you so far, and to ensure you don't let anyone down. And as long as we can continue to do that, we're being true to why we set up Skewb in the first place.
So you two are co-founders of a consultancy that is arguably changing the face of consultancy. So you guys do things differently. What is it that you tend to do in your spare time? So just to get to know you guys a bit better, what do you tend to do in your spare time to sort of decompress? Hobbies do you have? How do you get that work-life balance when you're kind of running the business?
So I have a simple rule. When I go back home, I kind of switch off because I have to, because I've got 2 young kids and a dog. So when I go back, it's all about kids, their studies, homework, walking the dog, so a whole raft of things. But but I enjoy doing my yoga, which is something that I'm very passionate about of late. And I obviously like watching movies on weekends, whatever time we get. And just rest for a bit, and then charge up for Monday. So very simple. Yeah.
Simple's always good, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah, I think because it's so simple for Indu, it helps me be at the total other end of the spectrum, which is I have a passion to direct a film in my lifetime. So
wow.
I think over the years I live it through my job. So I think I always feel my job is to get the right people at the right time to do the right thing in the right way and play to their strengths. So I don't need to have all the answers, and I don't think I have all the answers. But as long as I'm good at getting the right people to the right gig, it makes magic happen. So my spare time goes in ensuring I'm always trying to get the right people to the right gig. I think that's my hobby. I, I I do go to the gym. I think that's a definite passion in the last year where I've dropped 21 kilos in a very structured way, and I think that's part of life now. But I don't feel I need to switch off. I'll be honest, because I think we all are made in different ways. I think I switch off by thinking about what could happen. The art of the possible, opportunities, new connections, new frontiers, new solutions. I think that is my downtime. I enjoy thinking about it. I enjoy thinking about how to make it happen. And and I do read a lot. So that does come to the fore.
Would you say that's kind of what motivates and inspires you to run the business? Is bringing those people together, looking at what's forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And then seeing it through. I mean, I like to make things happen. I don't like too many accidents, and I don't like too many fortuitous things that just land. I think they're good, they're always welcome, but you always got to think about that destiny that you create, but also be very responsible in it. Because so many people now back you. I mean, we've been really fortunate in the 6 years that we've had with Skewb, that with every project we've done for our clients, I think clients have trusted us and have given us more. So you don't want to let them down. You don't want to let the people who joined you down. And in doing all of this, you make the consumer in UK PLC, you have a positive impact on it. So yeah, just do more of it.
What is it that you'd like to see your business have an impact on society? How would you like to see it have an impact on society?
I think the first and foremost, I think living up to the commitment made every time is key. I always say in a family, you live up to the commitment every time, and sometimes impossible things are made possible because of the commitment and the effort that is put in. I think, given where we are as a community, as an industry, it's a big game-changing time for that to happen. I think old practices are fantastic. We need to learn from them. We need to evolve with the changing times. We've got to understand the challenges of the economy and the society around us. Skills is a big issue in our sector, and our ability to attract future talent into this sector. And we've got to do it in a safe, clean, uh, resilient manner, because any any action we do has a detrimental impact on one's life. I mean, gas, water, electricity are life essentials. So it is not a product that that you can be disrespectful of. You've got to work with the properties of that product and then transform it through in the best economically resilient way possible for the consumer. And I think every possible avenue, whether it is digital awareness, whether it's technology, whether it's try and detect something before it's happened, uh, try and you know make it a positive experience for the customer in the most affordable way is what matters. The other thing from a Skewb perspective, I think it's not all about just winning work and making money out of it. I think it is about sharing that correctly back with your customer, and we do a lot for the community, and we will continue to do a lot for the community in the years to come. So I think as long as we follow the right balance of looking after your people, looking after the client, looking after the consumer, and finally there's a bit that looks after ourselves. I think you follow the right triangle, and I think that's the marathon we've got to look at. Success doesn't come overnight, failure can. So you've got to work at it and be at it at all times to do your best.
No, for myself, I'd answer it in two parts. Like, change always begins at home. Yeah. So we Skewb is all about people, and that's our strength.
Yeah.
So we definitely would like people to grow within Skewb. And so we always tell if they have different interests, if they want to move across projects, you're always welcome to talk it out and see where your passion lies and see whether they can make a positive difference in other areas as well. So people growth within Skewb, within our home, is very important to us. Now, going back to the society, what I would say is that we are doing a lot of community events and all those, and people are pulling up. All us Cubers are pulling their weight around in participating in all these events. But what for me personally, women in utilities is something that I'm really passionate about. Bringing more women into the business and seeing what impact we can make. So I have read somewhere that only 12% of the entire engineers in UK make up women. So that number, we need to see a shift. And if you see within Skewb, we have like a nearly 50-50 ratio female to men, which is something we are really proud about and which is something we want to encourage. I would personally like to shift it a bit more than 50. But yeah, so this is where my thoughts are.
Amazing. So just to touch on this, we've talked about sort of family, bringing people in, looking after people. Obviously, the utilities industry in particular is facing the skills gap crisis. What do you think the challenges are that the businesses that you guys work with are really facing when it comes to that? And potentially, I suppose, Skewb, are you facing any challenges with the skills gap?
I think number one, we're moving through fast times. I think patience and tolerance seems to be at a premium. There isn't enough of it going around. I think it's really important that the disciplines and the foundations that have been set by the elders are not forgotten. In the age of technology, it's really important to write on a book, use a pen, and keep it real. I think that's one, because there are some foundational structures which are there for a reason, and I think we should adopt, learn, and then strengthen them and bring them up to the times. So I think that's number one. Number two, we should, as we evolve them, I think it's really important to make it purposeful for an individual. Anyone coming into this sector, why do we have a skills gap? I think sometimes it's because people are not able to understand the purpose behind what they will achieve for themselves when they come into the sector. I think we're all humans, so if the purpose is very clear and we have a united voice in that purpose, it doesn't matter whether it is gas or electricity or water. I think the purpose is really important that we need to have a strong voice on. Third, I think it's very important to have a narrative that says what are the opportunities and possibilities one can have through that purpose for in terms of them honing their own skills. I don't believe we go broad enough in terms of clarifying that. I think the point Indu made about more women in this sector. I mean, why do women not see this as a career? Uh, because I think we're not saying it enough in the scheme of things. I think in the years to come, I'm not even sure whether it's women or men. It doesn't matter. If we don't have the right narrative, I think we're going to struggle to attract talent as we go forward. So I think having the purpose, having the narrative, having the breadth of opportunity, that and the array of possibilities that we can have. It's really important as an industry that we have the right voice. Last but not the least, we're all in the age of the iPhones and technology, and as tolerance is at a premium, we all want to know about things before they've happened or just as they happen. We don't have the time to react to things. So, how do we then use those, day in, day out expectations back into making a business process efficient, bringing tech at the heart of it, ensuring the quality of service delivered for consumers makes them feel proud about it. We talk about Deliveroos and we talk about Ubers. That's a logistical operation that's running very effectively. We don't really talk about the pizza that's delivered, isn't it? We talk about the logistics. I think what this sector needs to be very proud of is we talk about the product and we talk about the delivery of the product home. So there's an added piece there in the mix which we can't ignore. So getting that product right is really important, but then getting the product right at the right time is a piece which this industry is not focusing on a lot. We focus a lot on the product, but at the right time and at the right cost. If we make that narrative purposeful to the consumer, I think we'll have a lot of positives and a lot of attractiveness for someone working. I think local employment is another key facet. Why are we not doing more in regional communities to attract apprentices, A levels, GCSEs, universities? If we really have a concrete integrated program to do it, why would every utility have its own programs? Why would organizations like us, why can we not channelize an integrated gateway working with clients to be able to offer a real, state of the art foundational, intake that we can then subsequently, adapt and adopt across all of us. So the fact that if you do things like that, I think we'll get more pull, we'll get more collaboration, coordination, the best of everything. We're sharing resources, and we're having a common narrative. I think the industry is ripe for that, and we want to make a change with it, and we'd encourage everyone to be on that journey together.
Is there any particular initiatives that you guys are championing in Skewb that are sort of helping to promote professional development and career advancement within your business, not industry?
Quite a few, I think. I think one, I think Indu made a very valid point about everything starting at home first. So I think we make it very purposeful for our Skewbers, as we call them. So we encourage all Skewber families, next gen, as we call it, when they're ripe for their work experiences and all of that. I mean, we absolutely welcome them, into the business. I think for a few reasons. One, we need to feel proud that we can welcome them into the business. So we need the environment to be resilient to make that happen, and it needs to be welcoming. Otherwise, why are we working here? Yeah. I think second, as they come in, you will always feel they leave something back when they finish their work experience. And the something back is an idea of an improvement, is an idea of something that they would have expected, which we don't have. And I think it's our responsibility to ensure we deploy that into the mix. I think it's important. Let them feel they've added value. That takes pride back. Pride's a two-way piece. The more we do that, I think the more we are making this resilient for the future, not just for us as a business, but for the community as such. I mean, Susan, who works with Router, I think it was really nice for me to see her daughter and I think her daughter's friend perhaps, who were at the Northumbrian Water Festival earlier this year for the whole week. I mean, they could have done a lot with that week. And the fact that they were there says a lot about the art of what is possible. From a community perspective, I think we've started to engage with local schools. I think Skewb Climate very much is a vehicle that connects hearts, that connects the future generation, that connects the present generation, that connects the resilience and safeguard of skills and the way you preserve them for the future and the way you make it exciting for someone to learn. I mean, the same way as a business focused on products, we really want to capture and safeguard the connection between what's been learned in the past to what we can continue to take forward in the future. We plan to invest in at least 100 next gen Skewbers in the next 2 to 3 years. I mean, look, we are a young business, so we can size it to the level at which we at which we operate, but we're absolutely committed to taking on board at least 100 new Skewbers from different backgrounds, different levels of education, different levels of ethnicity, different levels of their upbringing in UK, because that's what you want. You want a multi-fabric environment and ecosystem, because that's what will make Skewb a better place. That's what will make our solutions better. That's what will make our products more richer. I mean, we're embedding neurodiversity in all our products right now. We will finish that by December of this year. And what that does is we're opening up opportunities for employment, that our clients should be saying, hey, we don't have a constraint here. We should be able to take on board different individuals, because everyone has a strength. There is no constraint. I think the constraint is in our mind in terms of how we adapt it. I think everyone has a strength. We need to play to the strength. So we're doing our bit, and we will continue to do our
And we
bit.
also have like a Journey 23 program, which was called Journey 22 last year. So we give a few days for our Skewbers to do things that they like. So we kind of sponsor that. So we have people learning guitar during their time. I think someone I know has gone spear fishing. Don't know what that is, but but a few things like that. So people are motivated, and also they enjoy working for us. In the way that it just drives them. Because obviously they're able to do something totally different to what they've been doing, and many people find the time constraint to do that. So by doing that, I think we feel really proud that they're able to do it, and they come back and they post in LinkedIn, and you see all those good things they've done, and you really take great pride in that.
We've committed 7% this year of a Skewber's time for professional development, and at the moment we're tracking 3.78% midway through the year. So what I say is, constraint is time, not money, not affordability, and the like. And I think one of the things we're championing over the next 6 months is really how do we work through the foundational pieces as we scale, to be sure that we are able to give Skewbers more time to pursue their interests, because there are people in Skewb who are working 5 days a week in 3 days, because they're doing community projects over the 2 days, and that's part of what they do, and we want to encourage that. We want people to live their their interests, as you said, hobbies, passions, all of that, because the more you give them the ability to do it, you'll get a lot back. And we see it. We get absolutely a lot back from the people, and they feel the pride working with clients.
It's refreshing to hear that I suppose it's personal professional development doesn't just have to be sitting in front of a
Yeah.
screen looking,
Yeah.
following
Yeah.
a course,
Yeah.
like to be
Yeah,
able to do
exactly.
something that
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
lights you
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
and how that's going to feed back into the business
Yeah.
is incredible, because and that's so rare.
The power of sharing, Jules, can't be underestimated, and that's one of the reasons why in Skewb, again, I may be digressing a bit, but no one has financial targets in Skewb. But what we absolutely expect is 100% collaboration. Because I always think when you solve a problem, it is never solved in an individualistic manner. You have to bring the ecosystem together. You have to bring different strengths together. You have to bring different capabilities together. And I think still we find there is a human vanity that comes to the fore as a constraint. It's not the target anymore.
Yeah.
So what we are at the moment working on is the human vanity to share, and I'm confident we will improve with every given day. But I think if we make the home a better place, we will have a lot more to give back to the community and
Absolutely.
channelize through our clients. We're able to do it in a very competitive and resilient manner.
Yeah. And we do a lot of collaboration with the clients as well, in the areas where the inclusion and diversity is concerned as well. So we partner with them and see how we can hold events together. And it's just having an inclusive sort of a workplace that just drives innovative solutions, isn't it? And employees feel more supported. So we also big on inclusion and diversity aspects. So yeah, straight on.
I was going to come back to that actually, because you did touch on that, and I think particularly with the skills gap and just in general, obviously inclusivity and diversity is hugely important. How are you incorporating that into day to day? And if it's something you feel like you can answer, how do you think like the utilities companies need to be doing more on in those areas to help not only the agenda of diversity and inclusion, but also to help with that skills gap?
For me personally, it's the education that comes at the forefront. Educating people on what inclusivity and diversity is. Sorry, and it's just as I said, employees would feel really supported if it is a really inclusive workplace. And in Skewb, we have like Skewbers team meetings where we take the first 5 minutes in take an idea moment. It can be health and safety, or just explaining and making everyone aware. Could be a work-life balance situation. So people feel a little, warmed up to the idea, and they're educated, and at the same time, they're also accountable. If something happens in your work environment, everyone has a voice to take that to the forefront, and we don't just leave it there. We do action on it, we log it and action on it as well. So everyone in Skewb knows that they have a voice. So that's what I feel. That's what we have done to empower people. And education, as I said, is again at the forefront. And it's a constant process. It's not like you tell today and that's it, you tick in the box. It's something we really embed in our culture and our system.
Get the voices out and allow everyone to express themselves. And I think the thing we say is every Skewber who works in Skewb needs to feel comfortable that their sons, daughters, nephews, nieces, family members, friends, that they can recommend them to come to Skewb and that they feel Skewb is a safe place to work. I don't think we're at the optimum threshold of it yet, but definitely we're above average in terms of how we make that environment work for us. So I think that's an absolute no compromise area for us. And I think, as Indu said, awareness, tolerance, being open to everyone's views, and allowing everyone to have a space to talk about it is key. And we will continue to do our best on that.
what do you see the future for Skewb, and not just Skewb, sort of the utilities industry? I know that's not the only industry you work with, but predominantly. So I'd be interested to see what your take is on where that's headed.
Speaking about Skewb, there are certain foundational aspects which will never change. I think deliverability, agility, consistency, um, commitment, looking after people, uh, being inclusive, diverse, focus on next generation,
Collaboration.
collaboration, product led, digital, solving problems, creating new possibilities. Uh, so it's endless. I think these characteristics is what signifies where Skewb will go. Growth is a consequence of these. So if the purpose is very clear, I think I follow Simon Sinek a lot. I always say, look at the why, look at the how, then look at the what. Never do it the other way around. So if the why is very clear, the how you find a way through it, the what in terms of product solutions, more partnerships, collaborations follows. So if the method is right, you will get to success or you'll get to a successful outcome, and endless possibilities emerge through it. So I think that's the journey I see. I don't see an end to this journey. I don't see this journey, coming to a finite end in 5 years, 10 years. Maybe I'll make my movie through this journey. In the scheme of things, I don't know. But I think that unknown is what keeps me excited, and the search for what's next is what keeps me excited. I think through this, we want to definitely change the way utilities operate, not because of the fact that they can't or we can't do something better, but I think we're in an evolving ecosystem where the humans are evolving. We see an iPhone out at least once a year, if not two. So change is a very real thing, and we don't have the patience to see things stagnate. So I think that's the excitement we need to bring into the sector, but be staying very true to the product and staying very true to the delivery of that product for our clients. I think regulation has a role to play here, and we like to move beyond the pound into value. But to deliver value and for the regulator to trust value delivery comes the credibility. So it's really important that we walk the next few yards to have a credible, deliverable commitment. By us, I mean everyone in the value chain. And I think that will push the bar to for the regulators to look at our industry in a very different way. I think at the moment we're quite conventional in how we deliver services, so the opportunities are significant for us to make change. I think that's what Skewb's
Yeah,
going to be
and
about.
also to focus on the fact that work as a true partner with your client, and integrate the Skewbers in such an environment that there's a true collaboration between the clients and Skewbers, and the partnership how it evolves is something that's really interesting to watch. And also, obviously, we need to grow, so we want to work with as many utility clients as much as possible. So that's what I see.
Jules, some of our products, the reason we invested in digital products is to really ensure that a problem is solved in a shorter possible time than when the skewers are on the pitch delivering a service. Yeah, because what it does is it enables replicability, it enables learning, it enables if there are multiple clients that give you different requirements of config, it really helps us to have new features that we can roll out to everyone. So it brings in sharing and it brings in we're a fast-paced business. We want to solve problems quickly, but we also want to leave resilient outcomes. What you don't want is we've been there, we've done this project, we then step back and then the performance drops. So a very focused investment in digital products from our end has been to ensure outcomes stick, so that you've got a strong foundational step and then you can move up to the next step, you can move up to the next step. So I think the bit which Indu says about integrating with the customer is absolutely key, because then you're jointly defining the step. You're jointly defining the outcome of where you want to take it. So I think the more faster our clients work with us, and the more we can work in a multi-partner ecosystem uh, with the right experts around us, that specialism along with digital products alongside is a game changer in the sector we're in.
And have you found, just out of interest, because you talked there about speed, and I think it's not unfair to say that the utility sector in particular is not seen as a particularly fast-moving industry. Has that caused challenges for you coming in from the angle that you come in for, and trying to create those efficiencies and give them that speed in an industry that doesn't necessarily move at pace?
See, it's a double-edged sword when I say speed. I think with speed comes responsibility. We've got to respect the product that is delivered to homes. So I think as someone who creates products and who looks at solutions to solve problems, it is equally my responsibility to work with a client to help them come to an outcome that makes them feel comfortable about the quality of the solution, the safety of the solution, the impact it has on the consumer, the impact it has on their business process, the impact it has on their systems, cyber security. It's a whole ecosystem impact. It would be absolutely unfair on our behalf, or I mean, from our side, if we were to say clients are not moving fast enough. I think when you look at the ecosystem in the broader context, and if we're helping them work through a joint position on it, by God, they move. Yeah, so I think it's everyone's responsibility to solve the problem. We're not short of challenges today. Everyone wants to solve problems. So the more you have responsible conversations that focus on the broader ecosystem, that helps to prioritize. And we've got to be fair on that. We can't be very self-centered because we want to grow.
Yeah.
You got to give a bit. And if we do that in a very responsible manner, then the integration that Indu referred to will be true.
Yeah.
Clients will trust you with talking about a problem. They won't see it as, well, if I say it to you, you're only going to give me a biased output. But if you take the broader ecosystem together, I have not had any issues with clients being open to transformation. Whenever a project does not move, I always think we've not covered all facets of that ecosystem to help them
Interesting.
understand why that problem cannot be solved. It's a very simple concept, and I always say, if we focus on the human, the person on the other side who's buying it is also a human being.
Yeah.
So focus on the human being, focus on what clicks, focus on the inner motive, focus on clarity of the problem, not the symptom, and focus on the ecosystem at their end, because they have a responsibility towards a consumer who's paying a bill. I think we then will find the right balance to solve problems, and pace will not be a constraint. So I think in Skewb, one of the questions you asked about what challenges we see from a skill perspective, I think it is to bring about that maturity, to have a conversation with a client about an ecosystem, and people, Skewbers, not getting into a narrow corridor of only looking at their product or
Yeah.
their capability or their competency. I think the broader ecosystem, the more we're able to talk about it, I think we will make strides in it.
So we've come to the end of the session. What we are going to be doing is asking all of our guests the same question, finishing on the same question, which is, what advice would you give your younger self considering a career in your industry?
Yeah, as you said, it's not a very attractive sector where you're like out of uni, or I'm going to work for utilities. That's not going to come naturally. But awareness definitely helps. So a wise man told me yesterday that we are actually in utility sector. We're changing the civilization. Without gas, water, electricity, you don't have anything. You can't do anything. So make that awareness probably at a very sort of a school level maybe would have helped us, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether I would like to go back and recommend now to my children's schools, yes, you need to include this as part of your curriculum. But yeah, it's something that I wish I had a mentor at that point in time to tell me about the benefits of that. So yeah, so I would go back to my younger self as a mentor and maybe tell all these things so that
Nice.
I can come back more educated into the sector.
Amazing. Thank you.
I think we need to go back to schools, and I think utilities is the most resonant. Uh, it has the most resonant impact uh, of how work connects to making a positive difference to people and communities. I think, as you said, uh, yeah, it's a life essential.
Mm.
So we don't need to go out and do community service and corporate social responsibility and all of that. You can actually do it in your day job. So I think if you really win hearts and minds in the very early stages of one's upbringing, then by God, this is a sector that that can make human civilization more resilient and
Change
stronger.
lives, essentially,
Yeah,
isn't it?
change lives and advance lives. There is so much out there that we've got to improve on, and I think if we do this well, I'm sure we have an indirect or a direct impact on poverty, employment, the whole GDP of how a country functions, and all of that. I mean, we can't be passive. I think we've got to be a lot more active in terms of how we take the next few years forward.
Yeah, but I think this generation, the present generation, is a bit more aware of a greener future and the importance of
Yeah.
going towards that. And they are more educated. At least in our times, we didn't have any of these, but I think now
Yeah.
children are more aware, and they're really passionate about it. Like in my children, I've seen that a passion has come through a little bit through education, proper education. So I think we have less job to do with this generation, but put utilities out there as an option for them,
Yeah.
so they can do a lot of programs, internships in the sector. So maybe that would help. Schools could promote that.
Yeah, that seems to be the theme, doesn't it? It's that utilities doesn't seem to be getting the promotion that it deserves, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have to stand up as role models to be able to do it. Because who is utilities? It's us. It's all of us. I mean, I may have a badge that says Skewb. Someone else may have a badge saying so and so water, so and so gas, so and so power. But it's us, and it doesn't matter what role we have in that value chain. I think we need to stand to be counted and make that out. Together, we have a much stronger voice than we have if we are by ourselves. So I think the more we collaborate and the more we've got a consistent game plan, I think the more we can influence policies, the more we can influence regulation, the more we can influence the future. Uh, and I think if we don't get this right, there is no planet. We've got so much untapped water across this planet, but still we've got so many countries having water shortages, and leakage is still a big prominent issue here. Uh, why? So if we don't, make it happen in our generation, then we can't leave a next generation in responsible hands. So I think it needs a total different proactive outlook focused on solving today's problems, but also looking at how future problems can be safeguarded.
And I hope that the podcast is going to be a small step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
On that, isn't it?
I hope
Getting
so.
utilities out
I
there,
think-
talking about the opportunity. Because I think one thing that's becoming very clear hosting this podcast is that people in the industry do not lack passion. So hopefully that will come across. But thank you both so much for joining me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jules.
Lovely
Thank
to
you.
have you.